I'm doing something a little different. I'm showing this off my iPhone because I didn't really feel like going inside and, doing the whole setup. Sometimes when something comes to your mind, I think it's just best to talk about it immediately. And I was talking to one of my guys on the Discord, yeah? Dean, I'll put his name out here, Dean. His mind's solid, right? I like it. I like how he thinks, smooth personality, he's relatable. But he's very perceptive, right? And he's in the beginning of his semen retention journey, and he's piecing the puzzle together, right? He's observing shit. We're talking, and he tells me, "Yo, Ross, I noticed this thing about semen retention, like when it comes to my verbal ability, right? Like in certain situations where someone might ask him a question, right? In those situations, he probably would have said something simple like, yo, Dean, da 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 da. He probably would have given them like a one-word answer, right? But now he's finding himself elaborating, right? And using bigger words all of a sudden. So when people are asking him questions, regarding whatever, in those situations where he normally would have, he probably said, a simple one-word answer, right? Well, now he's finding himself being more elegant in how he speaks, right, and how he responds to people, right? He's using bigger words intuitively. This is a part of it. First off, you're unlocking more of your brain on semen retention, and we talk about charisma, right? The word riz comes from charisma, right? The young kids, they're using the word riz, right? That word took off, but that's what it really means, right? Charisma. Charisma is something that people say that you either have it or you don't. But if people understood where it came from, right, the truth behind charisma, everybody would be charismatic, right? It's a frequency. So charisma is a frequency, right? The frequency of your voice along with the words that you say. So sometimes you could be saying some stupid shit. But then people are taking it in like it's the best thing they ever heard. You could be speaking some nonsense and people are taking it in. They're taking it in like it's beautiful. This is charisma. This is charisma. So there's a spiritual element behind it, right? It's words mixed with that it factor. And on semen retention, you get that. So how does this help you guys? This is with anything. Getting what you want. Game, women, business, sales. This is my favorite part of it, right? When I'm talking to my clients, I know I have them within, seconds. I know I have the person within seconds. You can see their eyes light up like, yo, what the hell? Like everything you're saying sounds good to them, right? I'm an introvert, and people think that if you're introverted, it means that you don't have social skills. No. People mistake, I've spoken on this before, people mistake social skills with extroversion. There are many extroverts who like being around people. That's what an extrovert is. You gain energy by being around other people. There are many extroverts though who don't know how to communicate. They don't have social skills. Introverts, they have a tank that starts off full, especially when they're around people. But as they spend more time around people, that tank diminishes. So over time, they just need to go be by themselves and recharge. It doesn't mean that they can't have social skills though, right? So as an introvert, I make it a thing, and it's not even me making it a thing anymore. Naturally speaking, I think I'm back in my childlike state to where I talk to people when I'm out, I might make a little joke, crack a joke here, or ask a question if I'm curious, right? We were curious when we were kids. So if a stranger, piques my curiosity, I might just go up to them and ask them a question. This is how you flow. So if I'm going to the store and I'm talking to the cashier, I'm like, hey brother, what's going on, man? How's the work going? How's your work shift going, man? I know I know you're not trying to be here, man. The vibe today is off, man. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Like head's looking down, like no presence, no life force. Yeah, I'm good. No, you're not, brother. I can tell. That's why I asked you. I can read your energy. I can see that you don't want to be here. So I come up to the guy and ask him a question and, try to start a conversation, be that different customer. Everyone's just robotic nowadays. So I like to be that one person who actually asks you, what's your name, or call you by your name because you have a name tag, or ask you how your day is going. Nope. Most of the time, they got no response for you. Dead. No life force. Again, we know what it is. You know, most men are suffering from this. They've got no charisma, right? They've got no life force, no presence. One thing that I would always notice after a relapse, my game was trash. I mean, game is just like my verbal ability. Even when we're talking about talking to guys, we're talking about talking to women. I'm second guessing things that I would have normally just said. Now I'm second guessing them. You know what I mean? Things that would just normally have flowed. Now I was second guessing them. You know what? And you guys have dealt with that. You know, those of you guys who are still going through that relapse cycle. Again, everyone's on their own journey, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like you're a shell of yourself. Like you're a doll. Someone says something, and where you would have normally, you know, made a witty, comment, your mouth is shut. Right? You just like nod or something. You know what I mean? That's not you, right? You're not yourself when you're fucking releasing. So everyone's got it in them, you know, to be charismatic. Once you work on your energy, you know, once you work on your frequency, that stuff is effortless. It just flows out of you. You know, so yeah, I mean, if you guys start taking this practice seriously, I'm telling you, man, there's a pot of gold waiting on the other side. This stuff is automatic. You're gonna start doing things, and then a couple months later, you're gonna be like, yo, I've been doing this a lot lately. Like, you're gonna think back one day after some interaction you just had with a person and be like, damn, I just ran this guy. That was smooth. I remember I had this guy at the Chick-fil-A store. I don't eat Chick-fil-A now. I was with, I think my mom, right, my mother, and she wanted to get a little Cobb salad, whatever. So we stopped by the Chick-fil-A, and we're at the window, and you know they're stalling. So one of the guys just, you know, he tries to have a conversation with me, asking me how my day. I know he doesn't care, so I'm like, all right, whatever. So I run his conversation. I start like, you know, dissecting him and trying to figure out who he is, his hobbies, all that stuff. And you can just tell the kid starts getting lost in the conversation. And by the time our food's ready, he's just like, oh yeah, your food's ready, man. He's like, and then, you know, he gives me my food. And as the window's closing, you know, I can hear him talking to the other workers at the window. He's like, yeah, man, that was a good conversation. You know what I mean? The kid is like, that was good. But what made it a good conversation? You know, I was being very carefree with him. You know, we were flowing. A big part with, you know, communication too is being relatable to people. That's why there are people who, let's say, you know, someone asked me, you know, we were talking about curse words. Like curse words, I'll tell you guys this. I curse in my videos on purpose sometimes. Why? Because my target audience is younger and they're relatable, right? It makes it relatable to them. If I came here all like strict and like, you know, trying to be everyone's dad, you know, trying to be people's dad, they wouldn't relate to that. You know what I mean? So a little slang, a laid back nature, there's a time for it. You know, so if I'm trying to connect with a younger individual, it makes sense that I've got to meet him where he's at, right? So, you know, that's one of the reasons why, you know, I might throw a little curse word here and there, but at the same time, like, that's me, guys. You know, it's organic. I'm not saying all this is premeditated, you know, completely, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna be myself here because this is gonna help connect with the youth anyways. You know, obviously there's a time where I'm talking to certain people, you know, let's say I'm talking to older clients, I'm not gonna be throwing, you know, F-bombs, you know what I mean? You know, during our meeting or talking, you know, while closing an older client. So it's just, you know what I mean? You gotta flow with things, man. You gotta understand your demographic, understand your audience and flow. This is a big part with charisma. The more you know about people, the more you spend time around different groups of people, different types of women, you can talk to anybody. You can talk to anybody about anything, you know? That's why semen retention this stuff is, man, this practice is something else because first, your ability to retain data, you can learn so much on semen retention and retain it. So this helps your social ability, right? If I'm out, and when I'm out and I'm people watching, you just gotta pay attention to people and look at patterns. Because then one day you'll go and meet somebody and that person reminds you of a few people who you've categorized. Now understand what I'm saying from like a bird's eye view. People have different temperaments. Like, you know what I mean? If I could tell based on what you're doing, all right, this guy likes the gym, this guy likes this, he likes that. Okay, so I kind of have an idea as to what type of topics he's gonna want to talk about, right? So we can vibe here, we can flow here. If you really understand people, you learn to take in people, you know, just people watch when you're out and about. You're gonna start seeing familiar archetypes when it comes to everybody, right? Everyone's gonna fit a mold to a certain extent. So you'll always have something that you can, you know, talk to them about. At the end of the day, most people are deprived of attention, right? This is a world where people do not care anymore about other people. So when you ask people about themselves and you genuinely try to just get to know them, and this is what I do a lot, I leave interactions talking to people where they know nothing about me. Sometimes they don't know my name, but I know who they are, I know their interests, I know where their family used to live. I'm from Philadelphia, I moved here with my family, da da da. I know, you know, they're broken, their relationships, I know everything about them. And we leave the interaction and the person's like, yo, this was a great conversation. They feel like you're their best friend. And I haven't mentioned a word about myself. That's a little hack right there. Like, just focus on the person, you know. When I talk to people, for the most part, I'm actually surprised when people ask me questions about myself, because most people don't do that. Me being me, and this is how I interact with most people. I just ask them about themselves and they don't think much of it, and then they leave the interaction feeling great, like we're best friends. When someone asks me questions about, you know, when someone asks me a question about myself, I'm usually not even ready to answer it because it doesn't happen that often. So I'm usually like, what the hell? Yeah, when someone does that, I'm usually, you know, I'm paying attention to you because there's something there. So, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but you know, you're someone, if we're in a room full of men, usually you want to know what, if something were to go down, how many of us are going to hold it down? You know, so that's how my mind thinks. So it's someone who asks me a question about myself while we're talking, trying to figure me out. Yeah, I'm watching you, brother. You know what I mean? Like, okay. There's something there. There's a lot of power in semen retention when it comes to your verbal ability, your ability to self-express. You know, if you haven't tried it and you comment down below and tell me, hey, Ross, that's bullshit. I'm on semen retention and I can't speak for crap. There's something going on, right? There's something that you're not doing properly, you know? There's usually something that's going on, right? There are plenty of people on this earth who are on semen retention by accident, but they're doing everything else wrong. You're not gonna get the same benefits.